Nicholson. Catherine, we've heard about this new military spending package. Can you talk us through what that means exactly?
Absolutely, yes. The High Representative of the European Union, the Foreign Policy Chief, Josep Borrell, has proposed to the European leaders that they add 500 million euros into what's known as the European Peace Facility. This is a fund that was set up just a year ago, in fact, and was used for only the very first time to finance sending weapons to a non-EU state just a couple of weeks ago in response, of course, to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. This was a very big moment for the European Union, and the idea of adding more money into that fund is quite a sensitive one. It is one aspect of a wider effort here at this European summit in Versailles to support Ukraine in different ways. Leaders pledging material support, financial support, humanitarian support in a statement that they issued on Thursday night at the end of the first day. And also part of the wider discussion going on today. There's been discussion of how to beef up the EU's own defence and security capabilities. President Macron of France, a big proponent of this. Interestingly, in just the last few minutes, President Zelensky of Ukraine has said that he wants to see more support from the European Union. Earlier on, I spoke to Croatia's Prime Minister Andrej Plenković. He said that the EU is fully behind Ukraine, and he pledged more support and potentially more sanctions to come as well. Take a listen to what Andrej Plenković had to say.
We can only conclude after the statements of Russia's foreign minister that we live in two different realities. And that's why we will continue sending strong messages, adopting the packages of restrictive measures in order to tell Moscow that this is not appropriate, that it should immediately stop with so many innocent casualties and people fleeing their homes in Ukraine. This is unbelievable and unacceptable.
Now, as Mr. Plenković mentions there's the question of sanctions. Catherine, you touched on that as well. We have heard about the possibility of further measures against Russian oligarchs specifically. What can we expect today from that summit?
Yeah, that's right. The EU has greenlit its fifth package of sanctions, hitting 160 individuals in Russia in that package. But yes, the European leaders say that they are ready to move further and move quickly on other sanctions as they deem necessary. They haven't actually been specific yet on exactly what they might target if there is another round of sanctions, but that's been the pattern that we have seen up to now. European leaders have said that everything really is on the table. We've already seen the financial sector being targeted. There are questions about whether the energy sector would be targeted. That is a little bit more difficult for the European Union to do. There have been difficult discussions here at the summit on that issue of sanctioning Russian oil and gas exports, which European states, to greater and lesser degrees, are quite heavily reliant on, more reliant than, for example, the United States or the United Kingdom. But that really coming into the wider picture that European leaders are looking at here, how much this war is costing to the European Union and how much potential measures would cost the European economies. The head of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, briefed the leaders on the second day today about the economic impact. They've been looking at how to mitigate it. President Macron has said this is a historic moment and we need to make historic decisions to stand up to it. He and the Prime Minister of Italy are leading the charge for more joint borrowing by all 27 EU member states on the international markets to finance another stimulus fund like the one that was put in place in the summer of 2020 to respond to the COVID crisis. There have been some quite strong pushback, though, on that, particularly from the likes of the Netherlands, also Germany. Some leaders pointing out, look, there is still money available in the fund that we set up in the summer of 2020. So that will be something that we're going to be listening out for some announcements on when we have that final press conference to wrap up this summit in just a few minutes' time.
And we will be keeping you up to date with that. Catherine Nicholson, thank you very much. Catherine Nicholson, our Europe editor, reporting for us from Versailles.